All right, guys, here's another Amico hit for you. Let's talk about Amico and how they could move forward. Now, before I begin, all right, let me tell you this for those of you who still have any kind of hope of seeing a console. Nobody should make this console in the company if they want to make money. Like I told you before, only if Soldier Boy comes in there, maybe Keemstar wants to do something. There is no reason why anybody should produce this console, period. End of story, okay? But if they were serious about producing a console, not necessarily the Amico, but some console, and move forward with a business, this is how you could do it, right? In a perfect world, if I had, money to push this project along and I could declare it as a loss on my taxes, if I had millions and millions of dollars, this is what I would do. Of course, I would move forward with a mobile project, right? And, license the games out, not sell them, right? The reason I'm telling you this is over is because they're actually selling things. And that's what you do when you're going to just tear a company apart because it's worth more in pieces than it is together. But if you wanted to keep the company whole, you would license out the games, have others, bear the cost of production, get a small, return on that, basically just a commission for licensing the IP out. But at least you'd be creating positive cash flow. Everybody there forward would be a independent contractor, right? Because you don't want to spend a lot of money in, salaries like you did before. So you can do a lot of contract work, but what would you do with the hardware itself? Here's a couple of things you could do. You could license that controller out. They mentioned the controller. If they were serious about the controller, what they could do is license it out to companies like Retrobit. Right? If you wanted to make an actual controller that would be in limited quantities, that the old man cringe community would pay through the nose for them, right? And, are you going to make millions of dollars? No, but you could make a pretty good chunk of money, right? Because these controllers, if they made them well, I've told you before, if they made them well, if it's just a cell phone with a 64 directional pad on it, they could probably get up to $199. They probably could get us there, right, on pre-orders. It doesn't matter what the old man cringe say, they will buy it, including myself. So, let's just start there. There's a lot of degenerates out here on the internet. Not all of them are frank as I am, but, you have to be honest about some shortcomings, right? What else could you do, right? You could also just license out a controller that is just an attachment for the cell phone. I.e. the jackbone, right? Those type of things that already have connections to existing phones. All you're doing is basically altering the D-pad to the Amico D-pad. That's really all that you're doing. They have all the technology. You can license that out to that type of company, and you can move forward from there. So you can use your cell phone with an Amico attachment. Again, licensed out so the company doesn't pay anything. That could drum up enough interest in the long run, right, for creating other hardware. What kind of other hardware am I talking about? Of course, it would have to be a mini console, which this should have been from the very beginning. You could have the Amico Mini. I would start personally with the Intellivision Mini. I think that would drum up a lot more interest, right? A lot more interest than just the Amico, because at this point, $300 is it's just insane. Over $300 for that machine is just insane for 2016 chip, whatever the hell it is. But Intellivision, the brand with the retro community, still has some standing. So if you put the all the greatest hits there, of course you can't have the branded names anymore like the NFL and what have you, but you could put versions of those things, right? Put your greatest hits up there along with the 6-pack in games, whatever those might end up being if they still are able to do that per their agreements. And that would be a good seller, right? You have to keep it under 150 though. You just can't ask people $200 for that type of, plug and play. But it would definitely have its customers out there. Now, after doing all that, could you eventually produce a console? If you wanted to, but you really don't have to, at that point. But you can move the company forward, right? Those are some of the steps that I see, right, that you can move forward with. And believe it or not, guys, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of dead properties within Intellivision. There's some horrible games that they put out. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a video on that. You can look at a short segment. If you're not a member, you can look at a short segment of it on the community page there. But there are games they could go back and redo. They would probably have to change the licensing because a lot of those companies are big now. They couldn't afford to do that. But there are certainly some misses in the Intellivision library that they could do, as well as other products. They can continue with the merchandising, so on and so forth. But there's plenty of opportunities if you wanted to grow the business slowly. Now, let me tell you guys, everything that I see, right, everything that I see here as far as the numbers tells me that they're just going to slice this up, get the most of it, as much as they can, and then move forward. Nothing else makes sense. I think Phil's email is just really just letting people down easy. Those supporters, those those fervent supporters, aka the cult, trying to let them down step by step so they don't get embarrassed. Because I think it would be a real embarrassment, specifically for those people, for these guys to turn around and just say, you know what, we're not doing it anymore. After these guys have put so much time, so much effort, doing all these shows, doing all this testing, and now they're calling them pilots. Remember I told you that's important. A pilot, it's just R&D, and you can reject it at any time. But after putting so much effort, after everything that's been said, after all the promotion that Tommy said, this and that and the other, that's a way that you could move forward, but it would take you years. I'm talking, that project could take 5 years to do. Could you make money? Could you be profitable? Yes. Could you be profitable enough to make an Amico console? No, absolutely not. Nobody's going to invest in that. You're not going to find anybody that is a serious investor willing to put money into that dead horse. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But could Intellivision live on? Yes. For me, what I like to see is for somebody to buy the Intellivision name and make it whole again. Get it away from the hands of these clowns, because they've done nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, but ruin the name and the legacy of what once was a great, great console. I'm telling you guys, it was the PlayStation 5 of its day. All right, guys, thank you for listening to me. I hope I earned your subscription, and I will catch you on the next one. I'll be off here this coming weekend for a couple of days because I have to fly. I have to go to South Korea, of all places. I got a short meeting there, and then I have to move on to an undisclosed area of the United States. So I'll be off the internet for a while. I might post up some shorts, maybe some community updates here and there, but that's about it. So that will start happening here. Would be my Friday, would be your guys' Thursday. So keep safe out there, and stay tuned. I'll catch you on the next one. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I earned your subscription. Make sure to hit that like button. And if you'd like to, please subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.